Humans are and probably always will be better at creativity, thinking, extending, going the next mile. The computers only do what they're told to do, but they're better at data crunching than you are.
Well, so I wasn't
Yeah,
aware of this.
yeah.
So AI is actually now going through those data points and recommending specific clients to go after. So it's AI that's doing that, not just an algorithm.
Right. Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah. So that's
Wow.
so. Yeah. I mean, let's see. Here's an AI tangent we can go on, and there actually isn't anything. There, AI is actually a misnomer. It doesn't even exist, and there's a lot of engineers who claim it either never will exist or we're multiple generations away from it actually existing. Right? Artificial
Okay.
intelligence. And the definition of artificial intelligence is something that can actually think for itself and regenerate, right? So it could basically make another version of itself.
Yeah.
It could have babies. That's what artificial intelligence is. We're nowhere near that. Nowhere anywhere possibly near that. And there's it's some people speculate that it's like a that tangent line in geometry where you try to approach but you don't quite ever get there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that kind of a concept. It's a derivative that we'll never actually be able to get there. We'll only get really close.
So it's just really complex algorithms, is what you're
It's
saying.
complex algorithms. It's called large language learning models, where you basically give it an extreme amount of data and it tries to draw connections between it, right?
Gotcha.
So that's all that exists right now, and we've just gotten over the last couple of years leaps and bounds better at it.
Yeah.
But yeah, AI doesn't
That makes
exist. It's just a
sense.
real cool marketing term.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then we'll keep using it.
So, John, tell me now you're in this campaign, you're
Yeah.
working through these three sectors, right, of the Facebook or the meta ad spend. What do you need to pay attention to in terms of messaging, in terms of who you're sending it to? Like, what do I need to pay attention to?
Right. Okay. Good. Good. Okay. So yeah, we got through one of the three things that we need to pay attention to. And one is the optimizing, telling them what to optimize for. So the next thing is it's at the ad set level is what it's called when you're in there working it, and that's who, right? Who's going to pay attention to this ad? And you can choose age demographics, and you can choose zip codes, countries, depending on what your needs are. And so you be as how do I say this? You be as specific you be as general as you specifically can, right? So you want to be you don't there's no reason to advertise to 18-year-olds if they can't buy your product, right? If they're completely
Yeah.
outside of your zone. And so bring it in into where if somebody actually within that I guess another way I usually say it is don't waste a dollar, right? Choose your targeting so that every dollar of ad spend is going to a likely buyer.
Yeah.
That's when you know you're targeted. Because some people think about it the other way, right? They're like, well, who else can maybe? Well, who else can we? I don't know. Have you ever had a 67-year-old female buy your product? You haven't? Well, then let's just not do that one, right? That's going to be wasted ad spend.
Yeah.
So make sure that every dollar is going to somebody who's likely to buy, especially when you're starting out. Be picky. There's no benefit in saying, well, I could imagine that somebody in Timbuktu, who's 120 could possibly want my product. You don't want possibly, you want highly likely. Target so you're highly likely, especially if you're spending a minimal amount of money, and so that all of your ad spend goes to the most likely. Like how do you know that? How do you know who they are? Anecdotally, because you've made other sales, right? So you know who listens to you.
Yeah.
You know who relates to you when you make videos and stuff like that. Who pays attention to you? Who doesn't? If you don't know that, ask your buddy, ask your wife. Who likes me and who doesn't? Who do I attract? You know what I mean? Oh, you happen to attract middle-aged men that that are married and have families. Oh, okay, well then I'll target them. Because they seem to resonate with me because that's everything in sales, right?
Yeah.
So go for that demographic. Can you niche it down? Ask yourself if you can niche it down because I knew this fellow in real estate. He's actually here in the valley, and he his niche down, and he only I wish I remember his name, but I know the story, and that's what's important. He only collects leads, and he niches to luxury homes in the Treasure Valley, which means he's cutting out 95% of his demographic, right? The people he could sell houses to, 95% of them he crossed off the list, and he's only selling to 5%. But you know what? That's amazing because he's now the go-to guy for luxury homes in the valley. He's the one that knows it. He knows what they look like. He knows what they feel like. He knows who the buyers are. He knows everything. And he's the person that you go to when you want a luxury home in the valley. Be that guy. Be that niche, right? Whatever that niche is. Sell your financial products to dentists. Be the person who understands dentists the most, who can sell them the financial products they need. You know what I mean? So find your niche, and that's going to actually open up your market Where when you're generic, you're kind of a dime a dozen.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
almost like the rifle approach versus the shotgun
Right.
approach, right? If you're
Right.
just blasting and hoping you're going to shoot
Right.
something,
Yeah.
good luck with that, right?
Yeah. People have this misconception that they're going to miss out on sales and clients if they niche.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you'll actually dominate your niche. I remember in college. I mean, see, I did pay attention in college. There was three things. there was only three ways to win in business. One is to be the price leader, but no one wants to do that but Walmart, right? Because you're just doing this price battle all the way down, and
Yeah.
unless you have the size and weight of Walmart, don't ever be the price leader. You can never win. Okay, so you can be the price leader. One way to win, don't do it. Another thing you can be is the quality leader, right? So that's where you get like
Best
Wha-
service, best product, whatever it may
best
be.
service, best product. Louis Vuitton can sell a bag for $500 and Target sells it for $5. How can they do it? Quality leader, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's perceived quality on the name or
Yep.
whether it's actual quality. Okay, and then the third way is niche leader. So can you be the financial planner in this zip code who just knows exactly how to talk to the real estate agents, exactly what they need. You know what I mean? Kind of a thing. So, and that's what my brother's done in his financial practice over in the greater San Francisco area where all the software developers are. He's niched in, so where he is the financial advisor to the software guys who make, their $300K or whatever on their software companies. And he's the guy who's like, yeah, I know exactly what you need to do with your money.
Wow. So okay, we've got this campaign, right? We got to figure out where what we're going to actually do. Are we
Right.
targeting leads?
Right.
Are we targeting a product?
Right.
Now we got this messaging and niching down. I think this is so important. And in our industry,
hmm
there's not just necessarily one person that just does one niche, although there are some people that serve multiple product lines in our industry. And so then I want to kind of go back and forth with you. So I'm an agent advisor that I sell annuities, I do senior products, and I'm doing some investments. If I'm selling 3 different product lines, which each could represent very much niched area in our industry, would you suggest then that I actually target niches individually, or should I cast a broad net and, hey, I'm like the guru. I do it all. I'm the one tool in your belt.
If you can be the one tool in your belt for a specific demographic, yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And I like that because, we've interviewed a lot of very successful agents. I talked to a lot of them. And what you just said is really spot on. If you are broad, you're very narrow somewhere else.
Right.
And if you're narrow somewhere else, that's where the success comes from. It's not from the broadness, it's from the narrowness.
Yeah.
And I 100% agree. And so, I mean, those who are listening or sitting there for the first time, I mean, you got to just live into that. The other part that you said that I'm sitting here just kind of digesting. And our practice, we don't do a whole lot of social media work, but I have, 2,000 plus clients right now. I could go look at the demographics and I could go in now and say, like, I have selected these people. What is it? And now I can go to social media and I can work in that ways. Or I can work on that group and say, okay, now this is the group I can go after. What's the message that they've heard that they
Right.
like from me? I know my message. I know it works for my market. Now I can start using that social media in a much more effective way. And I think there's a lot of great advisors that haven't even thought about using social media to succeed.
I think if you were to like look up on YouTube and start to ask questions that maybe your client would ask you,
Yeah.
I think you'll find examples of 1 or 2 or 3, financial advisors who have taken to social media
There
and
are, yeah.
and have cracked that code, and that's going to be a model for you. You can be like, oh, I get it. I could do it like that.
And then do it in your area or
Do it in your area. Do it in your flavor.
yeah, the way you want to do it so you can find. And I think that sometimes we see people that have succeeded already and they go, oh, shoot, they got my space. I can't do anything about it. And the
Right.
reality is, if we're talking niches and we're talking narrows, like everyone can play
Right.
because your success depends upon how creative you are in getting into that narrow niche.
Right, exactly. And that's I'm glad you brought that up because I deal with that a lot as I coach people on the social media advertising and stuff like that. They're like, "No, I saw somebody on YouTube. He's the lawyer on YouTube." I'm like, "He's the lawyer? How many lawyers do I have down this street? 17 of them, right?
Yeah.
Like he's not the lawyer. He doesn't own the United States.
Yeah.
You can be there can be 17,000 successful lawyers on YouTube.
Yeah.
You can be one of them.
That's exactly. I love that.
I love this has taken me back to your college days. You're like, hey, the box tells you to do this, society tells you to do this, and then we go out there. Well, social media tells me to do a lot of things, and maybe I go to YouTube and I find the one or the individual that's doing it or saying it right. But the reality is, you're going to fail doing it John's way.
Right.
Right. I
Right.
got to
Right.
find a way to be an entrepreneur. I got to find a way to do it my own way within maybe the confines of or structure of what that individual is doing. And if not, then we find this disingenuous nature that comes
Right.
out.